What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Last Word Music Podcast. I'm your host tonight, Scott Caverts, and I'm going to be talking about an album that dropped about 2 weeks ago. It's Unlocked by Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats. So let's get right into it. So my initial takes on the album, my initial notes, it's really gritty. It's fast. It's aggressive. The beats are kind of unorthodox, and I really liked it. So it starts off with kind of like an old-fashioned, almost like MF Doom type skit on track one, and then it just really goes right into bangers and just kind of finishes the rest of the album with that. So this is the first review I'm going to be doing with a new rubric that we developed. So as I go through, I'll list off the points of the rubric. So the first key to our rubric is lyricism, which is worth 20 points. And I gave Denzel and Kenny a 16 out of 20 for lyricism. There wasn't a ton of like lyrical substance that was like super insightful and made like a meaningful connection to like a greater world problem or something. But at the same time, a lot of it was focused on like big braggadocious, like kind of like beat down rap. But it was really, hard hitting, and the lyrics never got corny though. So that's a key thing, is like they never got to like cheesy lines, and they were actually pretty funny and entertaining. And not every album is trying to make, like a socially aware masterpiece. I really thought they did a good job lyrically for what they were aiming for. So I give them a 16 out of 20. Some of my favorite lyrics from the album were Harry Potter clip filled with deadly ass hollows, banging out your trunk, but it's not a Monte Carlo. That was a pretty good one. And then also, I wanted to be Corleone, but mixed with Cornelius, embezzling millions, have the crackers be shocked by my brilliance. And Denzel does a pretty good job of pulling off most of his lyrics. Again, not like super deep subject material, but the lyrics themselves, they're placed well. So the second key to our rubric is album narrative and sequence, which is worth 20 points. I gave Denzel a 16 out of 20 on this one. The premise of the album is kind of like Kenny and Denzel. Their album was leaked, and they have to like go into the world of Kenny's computer to like get the tracks back. And there's a video cartoon that accompanies the album on YouTube, on Denzel Curry's YouTube. That's pretty good. I recommend watching that. It's pretty funny, and it's kind of like those two venturing through like this animated world. But the album itself is pretty short. It's pretty concise. It's only 8 tracks and 18 minutes long, but it's jam-packed with bangers. It goes really hard. And like I said before, it's got these really cool skits with kind of a, old-fashioned voice that's very like MF Doom, kind of Mad Villain like. And the album has a defined story and a good video, so I gave it a 16 out of 20. Next rubric point is flow. You know how well Denzel follows the beat with his voice, stays in rhythm. I gave him a 9 out of 10. He does a fantastic job in this album of varying his flow. Speed-wise, he doesn't really cram any of his bars, and he manages to keep the focus on his voice amidst like a very hectic, almost violent background of beats. So the next thing is wordplay and rhymes, worth 10 points. I gave him 8 on this. He does a pretty good job all around. Some examples of his best rhymes were Evadius, the futuristic version of an avid kid activist, everybody lean on me. He's rapping very fast on a lot of the album, and he still speaks clearly and manages to show you like the words that he's rhyming very well. And so that's another aspect of this album that's very strong. He says, and I don't like Pixar, Miss Star, I'm the master. I came through like, wait a minute, bastard. Pretty good rhyming. I gave him an 8 out of 10. So our next subject is artist voice and delivery, which I gave a 9 out of 10. He varies his voice and delivery expertly, and it shifts from track to track, which is pretty cool. So there's actually no features on the album, which is pretty interesting, pretty unique thing for a hip-hop album today. But Denzel's voice, it never really becomes boring or repetitive. He does a good job of like keeping you interested in him, and so I gave him a 9 out of 10 on that one. So the next thing is features, and I said not applicable here. I'm not just going to give him a 0 out of 10 because there were no features on the album, because the album really does a good job of functioning without features, so I'm just going to rate the whole thing out of 90 instead of 100 for you guys. And up next is production. I give it a 9 out of 10. Kenny Beats does a really great job of mixing explosive beats and sampling everything from like car sirens to trumpets to keyboard clacking noises, and all the beats are pretty unique. At first, it's a little hard to listen to, I'm not going to lie, When I first heard it, it was almost too gritty, but the more times you listen to it, your ear kind of adjusts to like these zany beats that he's throwing at you, and the album gets better and better and clearer too. And then the last point on our rubric is memorability. You know, how will the album be looked back on? Can you go back, listen to it again? Will you like it? And I gave it a 7 out of 10. It's pretty unique, sonically as well as in terms of like its narrative, and it gets better every time you go back and listen to it. It's a short and easy record to listen to, and while it's not necessarily like an all-time classic, I do expect it to be one of the better, more unique and memorable albums of the year when we look back on things in December. So, gave it a 7 out of 10. My favorite tracks on the album as a whole were Layup, Pyro, So Incredible, Track 7, and Cosmic. Love those ones. And my least favorite tracks were none. All the songs on here were pretty good. Again, there were only 8 songs, so it was very concise and focused. I really enjoyed it. My overall grade for the album is a 74 out of 90. If you guys are wondering, that's about an 82 out of 100. So I'd give 2 thumbs up to this. Highly recommend listening to it. It's pretty cool and short, and I'd watch the YouTube video with it too if I were you guys. And that's all for tonight. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys go check out the album. Tell us in the comments what you think. What do you guys want to hear from Denzel and Kenny in the future? Do you want them to do another collaborative album? Just let us know. Any other recommendations for us to review, we'll be listening. And that's it. Thank you again. I'm Scott, and this has been The Last Word.